Upside down. How a true twin becomes a false twin, and why the one does not exist anymore. Attention, this article will turn your whole idea and world of twin flame knowledge and teachings upside down. As we are reaching new energy levels that have never been experienced in the physical before, a lot of our understanding and the energetic dynamics we were used to become outdated. It is time to take a broader perspective on things now that the planet has moved into fifth-dimensional frequencies, and many of us who have accomplished most of their healing work have done so, too. So take your time, reread it, and let it sink in, and feel into it. Lately there is a lot said and discussed in the spiritual community about false twins and catalysts. Supposedly, now is the time that false twins drop away, as the energies are rising so high, that they cannot remain in the energy field of a person that is not their true twin. And many people in the spiritual community are indeed experiencing surprising shifts. The person they were absolutely convinced of to be their twin, suddenly just drops away because they met someone else. Many are confused why they can all of a sudden love someone else just as much if not more, and how the other one just disappears. It must have been a false twin, or catalyst experience with the previous one. Well, it could have been or not. It could have been a true twin, mimicking a false twin. What? Well, with our shift into the fifth dimension, a lot of the twin flame teachings of the past are becoming outdated. That does not mean that they are not correct. Many of them absolutely are, when we are still living in the third dimension. So before we get into the topic, why you can indeed have a true twin mimicking a false twin, and why the concept of the one is outdated, and we can have many twins, we have to look at the energetics. Twin energetics. The first thing to understand is, the twin flame is not to be seen as a person, but as an energetic. In the past, it was not planned that twins would incarnate at the same time on planet Earth, because they knew how challenging it would be to try and handle the energetic dynamic of very high frequencies clashing with very low fear frequencies of the third dimension. So usually, most twins took turns. One was staying on the other side of the veil to assist the twin incarnate. This is the vertical twin flame energy. So imagine it to be a pillar of twin energy, connecting your joint higher self with you in a body on Earth. Since about 40 years, the amount of twins incarnating together and finding each other was increasing significantly. Twins were called to action, and volunteered to assist the ascension of the planet and humanity. Despite knowing how difficult, and painful it will get, to go through the 3D programming, and forgetting their true origin, they knew that their split energy joining again in 3D would catalyze this shift for humanity, and the planet intensely. Thus, the so far vertical twin energy became horizontal. And that meant a split energy, one energy field in two physical bodies that did not know about each other's existence anymore, once coming to Earth. And the real challenge began when the two bumped into each other. Paired with a fast spiritual awakening, a balancing of this joint energetic field became necessary. And we all know that this is far from being comfortable and the biggest challenge one can go through while being incarnate in a physical body in the third dimension. To fully grasp what is changing and why, we also need to look into the different dimensions. The differences between the dimensions and what it means for twins. The third dimension is a place of high density with low frequencies of fear. There is only one timeline available we are all on, and time is perceived as strictly linear, although that is an illusion. In the fourth dimension, the so-called astral or dream plane, linear time dissolves, but there is still only one single timeline. That means, we can move back and forth between past and future. So far so known. Now let's move into the unknown territory of the fifth dimension. In the fifth dimension, infinite timelines become available and linear time is non-existent. That means, that our reality shifts every time we switch a timeline. We have infinite possibilities in the fifth dimension we can choose from. This can happen unconsciously or consciously and individually or collectively, but is always intended by our souls. So what does that mean for twins? In the third and fourth dimension, the twin flame energy is tied to one person because there is only one timeline available, i.e. only one possibility, in which body the twin energy could incarnate into. So yes, in the third and fourth dimension it is absolutely true, that there can only be, the one. In the fifth dimension, everything changes. As there are endless different timelines available, there are infinite possibilities in which body a twin could have incarnated into. This is very difficult to understand for the mind, because it is only laid out to deal with a single timeline and linear time. Infinite possibilities in 5D. So what happens, once we have raised our frequency enough to get into the fifth dimension? We have all these possibilities available, and all of a sudden anyone could be our twin flame. Just as an example, you could choose a timeline, where everything is the same as in your life you have experienced so far, with only one change. Your twin flame has incarnated into a different body. This choice of a different timeline can be momentarily or permanently. That means that a 5D twin can come in permanently or only for a specific reason. For example, to help heal something quickly that would not have been healed fast enough for the necessary shifts with the 3D twin and 3D density. These healings are very intense, as the 5D energy triggers the remaining 3D frequencies to come up at once. The result, deepest pain, but a very quick energy shift to a much higher level shortly after. Another possibility is, that it became clear to you, unconsciously, that the 3D twin will not be able to make the shift with you, so you have chosen an altered timeline with a 5D twin permanently. This way, your 3D true twin becomes a mimicking false twin. Nevertheless, your 3D twin can of course continue to be your twin in 5D, but it does not have to be that way. While all of this might be totally confusing and overwhelming at first, it is also truly liberating. Because our old 3D New Age limitation of the one simply drops away. We can sit back and relax and know that the twin energy can come through to us in billions of different ways. How rewarding to know that all the cleansing and healing work sets us free to such a large extent. And that is important to understand here. This new reality and all these possibilities only become available once you have reached these frequencies. So sitting back and relax does not mean not doing your inner work. Then you will remain in 3D with the old concepts, that are absolutely valid in that dimension, reality, and frequency. It is important to understand that sitting back and relaxing does not mean not doing your inner work. This new reality and all these possibilities only become available once you have reached these frequencies. Those that have done their healing work and raised their frequency have entered a new era, not only for the twin dynamics, but also for our manifestation abilities. Everything becomes a choice out of a pool of infinite possibilities.